Yo! Welcome to episode 366 of GI Joburg. We're talking the Starlight Switcheroo. My name is Steve. I'm joined by my buddy Rob.
It's me, Rob. I'm Rob. I'm here.
Rob's here. He's right next to me.
Right
I can
here.
reach out and touch him.
Isn't
It's
that
amazing.
crazy? Wow.
Joining us from the far distant land of Johannesburg, South Africa, is Paul, the Deadly Pencils.
Yes, Joburg.
We can't reach out and touch
hello.
him.
I didn't realize that I was on the set of Twins. Referring to
Which
these
one
two
is which?
clowns.
Who's
Ooh.
DeVito and who's Schwarzenegger?
I think it's pretty obvious.
All right, yeah. Okay.
Well, depends. One of you guys both have to say "get down." Then I'll know.
Rob can win this one. Guys, we're talking about a Special Forces playmotion adventure premiered this weekend past. The link is in the description below. It's called Starlight Switcheroo. This is by our Dutch boys, Snowcatron and Mark van Leeuwen. Let's bring them in. Here's Mark. Hello, Marky.
Hello.
That's more.
And Ron.
Hey guys, good to see
Greetings,
you.
Hey, Ron.
greetings. Gentlemen, once again, thank you. You guys bring the heat in terms of play motions. So far, GI Joburg is like 2 for 2. Like it's the first 2 months of 2025, and we've had two hits right out the gates with the core top secret mission and now Starlight Switcheroo. You guys have rolled heavy on the Star Brigade figures. Amazing. Someone had to do it, right?
Yeah.
Right. Somebody has to.
Somebody had to. Yeah.
But by the looks of things, Mark, you've really kind of worked on the custom side of that world. I mean, a lot of characters that are new to my eyes, at least. I mean, you must love GI Joe in space, simply.
Well.
And then when combined with
You'll do
Ronald's Defiant launch complex,
Yeah,
it's like
I
a kid in a
think- I
candy
think-
store.
I think it was separately. We both wanted to do something in space.
Yes.
I had my Earth Defense Command figures, which are my customs, because I like to mix Transformers with GI Joe. That's why I made an Earth Defense Command Flint and his daughter Marissa, but also Zero Gravity, and added Star Brigade figures to that. So for me, it's more about Transformers in this case.
So Zero Gravity is actually a canonical Transformers character.
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
I just made her up. But
I thought so, but you had me like, because obviously Marissa Fairborn.
yeah, I know,
Flint's
but I like to
communicates
add
and
characters
sort
to
of-
my own continuity.
Amazing.
Is continuity, is that a correct word? Oh, never mind.
Yeah, continuity. Yeah,
Continuity.
Mark
Yeah,
does.
okay.
Yeah.
So and I came across the it's Leonard Wow Girls.
Yes.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
So I translated that to an O-ring figure, GI Joe size. I took the head from the Wow Girl and repainted it to match up with the other Joes. Otherwise, she would really look like Barbie. And the body is armadillos and Jinx. Jinx torso, armadillos legs, arms. I think Ace. I'm not sure anymore. And yeah, I added all kind of green stuff to
Extra
make her look
sculpted.
like the Wow Girl, and I added her to my Earth Defense Command because yeah, that's what I do.
Need a command.
really cool, Mark.
Exactly. Ron, where do you fall on GI Joe in space? I mean, of course, the Defiant is an incredible toy, and you
It's a
are the
topic
reason
I'm
GI
exploring.
Joburg has theirs. But
Yeah.
you're a fan.
No, it's a topic I have been exploring, and I love those Armatech guys. One of the guys you will see in the video, of course, is this guy.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
as
custom
you will
head.
notice, I put on a different head.
Yes, like instantly.
So
I was
much
like,
better.
I don't remember him having such a distinctive grin.
So this
Scowl.
one mimics the card art better.
Yes.
Yep.
Unfortunately, the helmet won't fit, but
I was just about to
at
ask.
least I
That's
love this design.
Now, where is the head from?
So can you take a guess?
A new sculpt era figure, or is it?
I'll give you
is
a
it a
hint.
head that you've chromed up?
If you look him in the eye, you will still see a hint of green.
Yes.
Hmm.
Gosh. What's his name?
Blanca?
Yes.
I'm sure it's
Exactly.
Blanco.
No!
Something about it reminds me of Blanco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Venomous Maximus with maybe the hairpiece pulled
It's
off.
the Street Fighter Blanca figure.
Brilliant.
So, if you
Without
look
the hair.
again,
Yeah,
And then you chromed his head.
it's just brilliant.
yeah,
Dude,
because
that head sculpt is amazing.
yeah,
Love that head sculpt.
So
It,
You got a
this head
great
sculpt
finish
really
on the
reminded
chrome.
me of one of the comic stories from the action, the UK stories, the Action Force edition. In those stories, Destro is drawn with a very realistic looking head, not so metal like, but more fluid.
Mm.
And that's similar with this head, of course.
So good. And I was going to say the chrome finish that you got. I assume that's a marker pen, like a chrome, liquid chrome.
Yeah, that's trade
it's-
secret. Yeah,
It's
it works quite
mirror
well.
like. Amazing.
There's just on the topic of Chrome, just so you guys know for future customizing, Green Stuff World does a range of Chrome paint. And one is specifically for airbrushing, like airbrushing only, and the other one's for brush on use. And I've seen a lot of the guys using I've got the airbrush only one, which works super, but you have to airbrush it. But the brush on one is incredible. It's really good. It's actually
I always assumed it was a very difficult process. I mean, isn't it? I thought it was like a vacuum chrome thing. Isn't that like what
it is.
Now get
It's
it
an
in the pen.
electroplating.
It used to be,
Yeah,
but now
it used to be.
You can just chrome anything.
But it's-
no correction. Some people with skill can chrome anything. I have one of these marker
That's
pens.
still my dream to take some GI Joe vehicles and go to a factory where they do that vacuum
Electroplating.
metallizing
Yeah.
process, and then just have a few more Sky Patrol vehicles.
My Sky Raven, I tried to correct with a chrome marker. It did not come out so good. So I need some tutoring.
yeah.
But guys,
and
a little peek
also,
behind the
if you use a
curtain.
chrome pen, it looks incredibly beautiful, but you cannot touch it that often
Yes.
because
Yeah.
it will
To come
disappear.
off easily.
Yeah.
Mm.
Rubs off. You have to
Damn.
actually. That's the second thing I was going to say. You get a clear coat that you can spray over it, which will not reduce its luster too much, but it will keep it safe from being handled. And that is done by Vallejo, and also Green Stuff World.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a metal.
Well, that's a good
metal
advice.
clear.
I could actually try to do that with this head to give it a clear coat. Let's see how that works.
And it's water based, so it's not like if you don't like what you've done, it's easy to strip. You don't have to use hazardous chemicals that might affect the plastic. So
The thing that threw me off with that Blanca head reuse is the hairpiece. Is it smooth under there, or is there kind of an indent? Because Blanca's obviously got this
there is
red
an
mane.
indent, so I had to fill it with green stuff and make it smooth. But
Very
it works quite well. So it's
Yeah, you wouldn't notice
This
unless
one.
you
you did a good job, Abe.
Yeah, he did.
You
Yeah.
sanded that nicely. You
Beautiful.
got that finish.
Up close,
Jess,
you don't
if
see
we
it.
can just shift focus ever so slightly and do some current events, really date this podcast. Is
Dun,
it
dun,
New York
dun.
Toy Fair?
It's something to that effect. Something like that is happening this weekend.
Yes, if you're listening to this, it will be the weekend past, so maybe this news is all out of date. But let's offer some speculation. We've seen pictures of the Mobile Assault Strike Command, or M.A.S.K boys. This is being put out by a company called Loyal Subjects, and I mean they do a whole bunch of IPs. I think the one I know them most for is Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, they've also done, I think, Rainbow Bright. So, I mean, they're all over the place with the kind of toys that they make.
And retro IP specifically. But here
Yes.
they are using what is a Hasbro IP, M.A.S.K, and it seems like they're going for broke. They are doing 2 Matt Trackers, Bruce Sato, Brad Turner, and Miles Mayhem, but they're also doing the vehicles.
But you can't have these guys without vehicles. I mean,
No.
Of course not.
Well,
Yeah.
Hasbro has
GI Joe
done them.
tried.
Yeah, exactly.
it's a cool toy, but still, it's just
But looking at these
Um,
images and pushing in on them as I have, Paul, I'll give you a minute in the next few seconds. But when I look at these figures in full length, it looks to me like they've got O-ring construction. Just the way the C-grip hands work, the way the crotch looks, the way the arms move out to the sides. I mean, in these digital renders, they've gone to great pains to erase any obvious signifiers like rivets. But even so, these guys have a vibe, a look and feel that make them look like 118,
Yeah.
3 3/4 inch O-ring figures.
That would be awesome.
Which, I mean, it's obviously a change because, I mean, when I believe it was Kenner originally produced them, they were more to scale with Star Wars figures at
No,
the time.
they
No,
were
they
like
were
Dino
more
Riders.
Dino
Well,
Riders.
Ronald can speak to this. Ronald, you're
Yeah.
the expert.
Yeah.
Well,
This-
yeah, the entire M.A.S.K collection is just sitting next to me, so I could grab some stuff with it.
But yes, they were sort of 2.5 inches as opposed to 3 3/4.
Yeah, and I'm curious about this actually because I am very pleased with the Machina releases that were in more or less in the same scale as the original M.A.S.K toys, but I'm not familiar yet with this. I do know this was coming, but I'm not sure which scale this will be and how true
I mean,
to
would you
the
want them to
original toys it
be
will be.
more? Do you want them to be more in scale with the existing M.A.S.K figures, or would you like them to be more in scale with GI Joe figures if they are O-ring?
Well, I think to
like a
add
huge
value to what's already out there, then perhaps it would have to be Joe scale.
For me, it has definitely to be Joe scale. The only reason why I don't collect M.A.S.K is because it's another toy line.
Yeah.
But I really would have want M.A.S.K integrated with my Joe. So if this O-ring if this fits with the Joes, oh my god,
I think that would be
it's
incredible.
a must
I think
have
that,
for me then. Yeah.
that's often what put me off. I mean, I think I had one M.A.S.K figure and vehicle. No, I didn't. No, you're the only one who had it. You had this guy.
I had Condor, and this is where things get interesting because I guess this is a real
comparison, boys.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, so
so I would say M.A.S.K is about 124 scale and Joe is 118.
Yeah, that's
so that's
huge
about
difference.
Yeah,
he's like a child next to Cobra Commander.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, Paul's also got a comparison.
No, that's not M.A.S.K. That's Fist of the North Star. But yeah, that's what 124.
Okay, so that's kind of what they.
And Kenshiro's tall in real world as well. So,
Mark, I'm in the same camp as you, buddy. They're very attractive toys. They're amazing, but I did not want to split my focus into a different scale. Condor was the one M.A.S.K vehicle I had growing up because I actually traded a GI Joe Tiger Paw and Topside for Brad Turner and Condor. I think I got the better end of the deal because M.A.S.K toys had kind of disappeared from retail completely by then. But looking at this image, I'm like, that is actually the Kenner Condor. That is
the
not
proper Condor.
Yes, I mean they did not bother to create a digital mock-up of whatever they're about to unveil because this is absolutely just a 3D render of the original.
I suppose they're trying to play coy,
Yes.
But like, I feel like there is.
Whereas the figure definitely jars. Like that is absolutely a new artist's rendition or render.
What I could say about this, so when looking at the toy, it would be exactly like the original release. So that would also mean it would be in the same scale. Otherwise, you would add more detail.
Yeah.
What I do know about the Machina figures, they do have similar articulation to what I see here, but they are not O-ring.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm thinking this is going to be a 118 line. That's my prediction. Right there.
Or your hope, at least.
No, why would they bother to show the like? Obviously, the original M.A.S.K figures had T crotches.
Yeah, it's very obvious. But here, I mean, if you look at the figures, it's very obvious, especially the crotch area.
Carved
really
out.
Focus on their crotches.
It must be.
Come on.
It must
please.
I think that would work. I mean, like if it was made directly by Hasbro, I'd say 100% because obviously they've been playing around with different properties in the 1/18 scale. Obviously,
Ghostbusters.
and then obviously they've done a couple of retro GI Joe figures. But the fact that they did Ghostbusters recently, but having it be a third-party company producing them, I don't even know what to think, because none of the things that they produced so far are comparable. They seem to have multiple different properties that they work with. You know, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Starbright, whatever those guys are, Strawberry Shortcake, Teletubbies. I mean, those are all essentially non-scale figures. You know, they scale with themselves, not to each other. So I don't know. I think we're just gonna have to wait and see what this weekend reveals at the convention they're at.
Another company taking a role at O-ring action figures.
Yeah, Super 7 is obviously currently trying with GI Joe.
Well, I'm here for it, boys.
100%.
What else was
Okay.
revealed this last week was classified series Cold Slither action figures.
Oh, guys, one
Yes.
more thing.
Yes.
One more thing. This is the figure from Ramen Toy. So if you look
Ooh.
at the articulations, look at the crotch area, and
Okay.
so it
I'm
does,
It looks.
You can
It
turn
looks
it?
fine
Similar.
to what we've seen. Yeah.
Yeah. Bendy
Yeah.
legs, ball joint arms.
That
and the
is
leg.
interesting. It's not O-ring, but it has that similar looking
There's
articulation.
more articulation,
It does.
and it is relatively it is almost in the same scale. Yeah.
Oh, it's the original M.A.S.K figures. Ooh.
I don't.
Ron is shitting holes in your theories here.
Why remake like perfection?
Well, you say that.
But the
You-
Sky
you-
Striker,
Yeah,
I
the
know.
Sky Striker, and also look at other toy lines where they've essentially just reproduced the exact same thing. I mean, you may watch the video recently where we saw that they re-released the Batman Forever figures essentially verbatim, to what they used to be. There's no adjustment to make them fit in with any other scale except themselves. I don't know. I don't want to make you sad that you won't be able to buy these figures because they won't fit in.
Look, in many respects, I don't really want to start collecting another vehicle heavy line. GI Joe occupies plenty of
But
shelf
at the
space.
same time, can you imagine?
Boulder
Yeah.
Hill.
I've been very naughty, guys.
Oh yeah, spreading yourself all over.
So apart from GI Joe and M.A.S.K, which are already two different scales, I'm also now dipping into the 1/6 scale.
Yeah, I remember you telling me.
Perfect segue. So, will you be getting the 4-pack, the Dreadnoks, in their Cold Slither costume from Classified series?
Not for me.
Okay.
Yeah, Ron's going for a more gourmet figure.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
We're talking about
something more
Mefex.
premium. Yeah, more in that line.
Very good.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, I shared that with you, right,
I mean,
Paul?
Mark, Ronald, yeah, sorry, Ron. Sorry, Mark, and sorry,
so
Ron.
Paul
Yeah, but
knows
Ron's
he's
going
on
for
the
more gourmet.
inside.
Yeah, he sent me some stuff, and I'm like, yo, it's a slippery slope. I'm excited for you, though. It's a good
Yeah.
toy.
I don't want to dip in too deeply because I don't have the space for that. But it's
That's my problem
I'm
too.
very I really love the Michael Keaton Batman films. So I'm sure you do too. And they made some beautiful figures, 1/6 scale, but also a Batmobile and Batwing.
Oh my goodness! Yeah,
Batmobile
Steven
might
knows
break me.
the love of a Batwing and a Batmobile, what they'll do to a person.
Those vehicles.
That Batmobile.
And the beautiful thing is those two vehicles have been made by a Dutch company.
So that makes it easier or cheaper for you to get them?
Exactly. So I can just pick them up.
That's great.
Otherwise,
And it's great.
otherwise I wouldn't even, get into it. So
Yeah, and if it's a specific character that you absolutely love, I think it makes it easier to kind of dip your toes into a different format.
exactly.
And be like, this is it. I want this guy.
And
that's
the trigger for me was Catwoman. So this company will release Catwoman in 1/6 scale. And that is a figure that I've been wanting all my life with the right, details, especially the face sculpt, that it has to look exactly right.
Yeah, it has to look like Michelle Pfeiffer. Like
Yeah.
you can't get that wrong. Ooh.
I so wanted a Catwoman action figure, and it was promised to me after I as a child, needed to get a shot before getting on a plane.
Mm.
Anyway, my mother said, if you get this injection, you can have that Catwoman action figure.
Anyway.
I took the injection like a man, but I never got my
got the
Catwoman.
figure.
Yeah, bad times, bad times. Well, flash forward to, I mean, last year I was at a vintage toy fair and I found one.
Okay.
Hooray. She does not look like anything like Michelle Pfeiffer, of course.
No.
My wish has finally been fulfilled. Before we went live, Mark, you said that you had something to say about the Zartan.
The Super 7.
The Super 7. They're doing Cold Slither.
I have to admit, I am overall kind of disappointed about the O-ring by Super 7 in general. But,
Oh,
yeah. I don't like it. It's
I like this way
any
more
of
than the big one. Personally.
Oh,
honestly, I you know, I'm a Zartan fan. I mean, he's my favorite character of all times. I really would have liked to have a Zartan with a cool hairdo because in the cartoon, his hood is often drawn as hair. But this, no, this is a wig my aunt could wear. Sorry, it's
even when it turns blue?
It looks so much better now.
no, it doesn't do anything for me.
Wait, do his
At least it
boots
means
turn-
it's not painted skin, thank God.
I want to, this is a rendition, of course, so I want to see the real figure. So I wait for that. But seeing this, I don't have any use for Cold Slither. If they would have made a multi pack with the entire Cold Slither, then for me it's okay. But this is just one figure. Do I need to wait for the rest? Does the rest come? Is it?
It's a strange difference in approach between the classified
Yeah,
series from
and
Hasbro doing them all 4 in one go. I believe it's a convention exclusive.
Mhm.
And then Super 7 just giving you Zartan. Like,
And-
surely
and
everyone's
why-
scratching their heads.
they have made a Zartan which didn't turn blue, and why does this one? I mean,
Yeah, because he doesn't turn blue during the performance, does he?
No, and it is in
no.
an outdoor
No.
stadium. So what happened?
and with a lot of light. So it doesn't make any sense to me, and I'm not, no, I'm lukewarm to it.
Yeah, it's a very odd choice. I
Yeah,
mean, it's a
I have to
group
see the
thing.
real figure.
You don't want him on his own, you know.
Maybe the hair is better in when you see the real figure, but this, no, not for me.
But
Yeah, fair
I mean, these Super 7 figures, they look like core quality figures with, G.I. Joe characters mixed into them or something. There's something missing in the sculpt, it seems.
I
I don't
think
know. In hand,
what
they're pretty rad, actually. but
no,
let's see.
I have a few, but
that's
what
fine.
irritates me is that the eyes are not sculpted, so they look
Yes, yeah.
like the Joes. If you photograph them, because the sculpted eyes, you can get all kinds of expressions depending on where the light falls. And with these
Yeah.
figures, it's all the same blank expression. CoverGirl is really ugly. Sorry that I. It's an ugly figure. A lot of people were very enthusiastic and they are very positive. But if you photograph her, there's nothing there. And it's frustrating me,
difficult.
and also the details on. Of course, they go for no. It's she. Come on.
Can you
Sorry.
focus that, Paul?
I'm just waiting. Yeah, I'm just waiting for my autofocus to kick in.
Yeah,
Oh, autofocus.
it's a.
Terrible.
Yeah,
I
I'll
have
turn
a
it up
theory
right.
I
about
find
this
it a
game.
very
Thank you.
blank
It's
stare, and also the arms are very thin. The rivets are very prominent. Because the lack of detail, the rivets show seem to me that they show more than they do on the original Joes, and I keep
Yeah.
comparing them with my original Joe, so that's never a good thing. It's no, I'm actually overall disappointed. Yeah. Also, Duke, the head sculpt is beautiful, but the
Yeah.
1,000
eyes
yards
are not
there.
sculpted, so it's.
I do
I don't
think
know.
they are suitable to use
Snake Eyes is
parts
okay.
of those figures for
I
costumes.
love
Yeah, Snake Eyes is okay, and the bats too. Actually, the bats I
yeah.
like.
I still
I
haven't
do like
opened my
the
bats
Serpent
actually.
head, I must say. Yeah.
Yeah,
Guys,
no.
overall, I'm
drinking.
happy
I'm
with
sorry.
the Super 7 stuff. No, that's your opinion, Mark, and the thing is that's good.
It's
I
a
don't,
valid,
you
it's
know,
a
you
valid
need-
thing. I actually hadn't actually thought about that. I mean,
Yeah.
unsculpted eyes, there is something you are losing there actually a little bit.
Totally.
And I use my Joes primarily for my coffee table books, my photography, and they don't mix well. That for starters, if you put them in one team next to one another, they stand
Oh, we haven't
out
done
as well. They just stand out. It doesn't
Hmm.
fit. So for me, that's a no.
Fair enough.
No, I have my hopes up. I like the Delta 17 more, although mine had a few issues, but I like them more. And I have my hopes up for Carson.
Yeah.
Operation Recall.
Operation Recall.
Recall
Yeah.
is
Well,
gonna be
and
great.
let's not forget the beautiful figures made by Skeletron.
Yeah, but it's the same team.
Yeah, it's the same team.
Yeah.
But they're already out. The Wolf Trooper O-ring is really beautiful.
That figure is amazing. Yeah.
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 You know what else
Also,
is amazing,
Maze and
gentlemen?
Thor, weapons, and
What is it,
it's
Steven?
pretty well
What is it,
thought.
Steve?
Yeah.
The
Come and tell
Starlight
us.
Switcheroo.
Oh my goodness.
What is the
Ah!
origin? What is the origin of this playmotion? Did you guys just figure like it's been a while? Let me trek across the country and visit my pal Ron, and let's shoot something. Because I mean, I love it. It just kind of surprises me every couple of months. You guys have collaborated once again. We all get to enjoy this treat, this playmotion, a fresh one set in space. Very ambitious.
Do you want to start? What?
Well,
I mean,
let's start at the
you already
beginning.
mentioned we
Who
did
got the
want to
ball
do a
rolling?
space story, so we did want to use, the Defiant surfaces, and Mark has a complete setup with actually a lot of customs, as you mentioned, Steve, related to the Transformers storyline as well. Marissa Fairborn as Flint's daughter, so that's weaved into the story. So we really wanted to set up a story that took place in space and could make use of all those figures and the Defiant as a background mostly.
Yeah, and we wanted the Defiant to be a space station rather than a gentry. So we filmed it as if they were inside some kind of big space station, and we showed off all the features from the different vehicles of the Defiant as if it were one giant space.
Yeah, it
station.
feels like a big space. You kind of get that feeling of them kind of moving to different parts of it. The
you
meeting in
guys
the one big
nailed that.
area. Yeah, no, you do feel, especially when Wraith comes along and kind of like infiltrates his way to kind of rescue Baroness.
The uses of the Defiant, like, I mean, you use it like a movie set in a sense.
Yeah.
There are corridor sections where characters are having conversations, and you're shooting shot, reverse shot with them walking along the sides of the gantry, but it makes it look like it's a corridor in a much larger space station. And then there's using the launch
shell
as a docking bay,
launch,
which is brilliant. I mean, like, just this is
Thank you.
how we would have played like that as kids. We would have been like, leaving this thing behind on Earth is boring. You've got all this amazing detail, all this amazing play area. Put it in space. I love it. Yeah, really. But we spoke about Wraith. We mentioned it. You have a custom Wraith action figure. I could not identify the parts. I tried. Like, what is the recipe?
It is originally created. I think I mentioned his name before, but there is an ex-Hasbro employee from. He lives, I believe, in Mexico. He's called, if you look him up on Facebook, Krex Radek, and he creates original figures. So he's also the one who created the Pythona O-ring figure.
Yes.
And so he sent this Wraith figure to me. So basically, he created an O-ring version based on the comic book appearance from the Deadpool Due comic, and he sent it to me unpainted. So I still had to paint it, but the material of these figures, it is not like a proper cast plastic. It's a bit more like prototype material, and so you need to handle them carefully, but you can paint them.
And apparently take playmotion videos of them because he got in on the action, creeping through the Defiant, rescuing the Baroness. Hence the Starlight Switcheroo. I mean, I'm not going to give it away for anyone who hasn't watched it yet, but if that's the case, what the hell are you doing? Watch it, come back, check out the podcast. Yeah, Paul, do you have any talking points you want to crack on into, man? I assume you've seen it.
Yeah, well, and I also watched it just before this, just in case. I'm a big fan. Firstly, I love your like custom Cobra Commander. I think it's it's technically Cobra Commander version 3, or is it 4? The one that typically has an orange mask, and you painted him up in CC colors. I love the chrome dome and everything there. It really adds. There he is. It's on screen for our viewers.
So
he is an incredible looking figure. Really great mix of parts and whatever's going on there. That jumped out at me. I felt like that was just a really great surprise. And then of course your Destro custom, which we spoke about a bit earlier in the show. I really enjoyed that. I really loved that Destro figure, and I'm a big fan of the Armorines, or the armor the armor guys. I just love the possibility. Like I can see them in my head as like being a lot more mobile. And his toys, they were pretty simple. Plus, they updated that big plasma gun, with an easier handle for the grip on the toys. But anyway,
oh, you're talking about
I
Eco Warrior
digress.
Flint's
Yes,
sci-fi
that
shotgun.
BFG. Yes, yeah. But anyway, I digress. Other
For
things
anyone
in this
listening
episode.
and not watching, what Ron had in his hand was 1991 Battle Corps Cobra Commander's head on the Talking Battle Commander's Cobra Commander body, and painted a uniform blue color. But then he chromed the orange faceplate. Once again, a dab hand with that chrome marker. So it looks like an update to Mirror Face Cobra Commander, which was sorely needed, to be honest. Like they kept going back.
Version back then. Yeah,
they kept going back to the hood. I mean, it's ironic now that the hood is verboten.
It's not allowed anymore.
Yeah, but back in the 90s, they just kept doing hoods,
Thing they did,
and they didn't do the mirror face. Interesting.
I didn't want to like describe the figure too much because I was hoping people would be like, "Oh, I got to see the episode, the playmotion." But I also, as Steve mentioned, I love the use of space, not space as in space, as in the space inside the Defiant. I thought that was very cleverly done, because it is a very big toy, but you guys make it seem like an even bigger toy than it actually is. And that is probably why the gantry section, why the gantry section and the actual Defiant itself are like really amazing figures. Like, in fact, I miss those toys because they're just really, really great toys. So you guys shot that.
These two boys broke out the Defiant last night.
Yeah, don't worry, we
good.
enjoyed
I'm
it.
glad.
Yep.
Thank you.
In honor of this play motion, we had a good play session with the Defiant. Amazing toy.
And I also appreciated your technical rundown of like repairs, like when Countdown goes out and he's like replacing the ceramic tiles, the heat absorption tiles, and all that. I enjoyed that because it just kind of speaks to you guys have like done the research there. You guys find that kind of thing fascinating. It comes across as, he's not just sitting there welding outside going, I'm welding in space waiting for the enemies to arrive.
I actually took the blueprints to give that somebody, and it's of course an homage to Dustin's gold armor of gold.
Very good. Cold armor.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. I told the last time I was on the podcast that it's one of my favorites, and I needed to put it in there. A bit of a little homage to that play motion. So yeah, I'm glad it worked out. It's very short, but it's good seeing.
And such a subtle little thing is when Countdown is kind of humming to himself. So he's all like, when he goes into the elevator, to the airlock. It's just such a small little thing, but it tells us that it tells us subconsciously that it's a very mundane task, that he's so used to doing it. He's so whatever about it. So you also like kind of get across the sort of mundanity of being in a spaceship, and being a crew, which is, which I thought was cool. Like, it's not like, oh, we've just arrived on the space station. We're here this week because Cobra's going to attack. Kind of feels like, the guys used to being there. They're used to their job.
There for a long time.
Yeah.
Well,
So
thank you for picking that up.
shot,
Nice.
but yeah, stuff like that's very cool. But I feel like I've hogged the mic enough. Actually, there's one little space dogfight that I really love, and I'm sure we're all going to talk about it just now. Are the laser effects that you do?
Yes, that's my biggest question. How did you do those laser effects? They were so cool across the entire
With a lot of patience, right, Mark?
It is. I should have brought it with me. It's just a string which has light in it, and you can bend it. But to set it up took a while. And if you moved or it
So if you
it was
bend
very
it too much,
fragile. So
the
if you
light will go
breathe
through?
it too loud, then it would get
Ah,
weak again, and then the whole effect was ruined. So it was a bit of
They're fiber optic cables, aren't they?
that's
Right.
what it is.
It's just
Yes.
Is that
a
what it
different
is?
light on or different color light to
Yeah.
signify the different
Yeah.
laser. Well,
Okay.
amazing. Did you get that at sort of like a home supply store? A hardware store?
I bought them
Electronic
online.
store? Okay.
Hmm.
I was looking for that specifically because I knew it existed. Couldn't find them here, so I bought them online, and they were kind of cheap. And
From
I
China,
put them
no
to
less?
good use. Yeah, I really wanted the laser effect, and if I remember correctly, red was for the Joes and green and
Yeah.
blue for Cobra. So I mimicked that as well. Yeah.
Very striking. I've never seen that done before, and certainly not in the playmotion. So
It worked out so well.
Signature.
And it's beautiful, the coloring of that, because I mean you have other lighting, but I mean that's kind of like the major colors that pop in those scenes where they are used.
Such a surprise to me, because that is not what I thought you did. I
Mm.
honestly thought, I thought that you took either like wire, or string, and then like colored it with neon colored paint, and then just used a handheld
black
UV light. to
I
light them
could
up.
have done that. That is some technique that I use. So yeah, but in this case, it's far more easier. Yeah.
Oh,
So
cool,
how long
man.
did it take for you guys to film this? I mean, like how many days were
weekend.
you to go about it? 1 weekend.
Wow.
Yes, again.
Very efficient.
We are very efficient planners. Yeah, we have to because
Wow.
And what
Even
we also
down to kind of
learned
like a shot list.
when it's time to take a break, right? So yeah, it's
It's toilet break time, Ron. You've got
yeah.
2 minutes.
Time to
I
eat
think
something.
I am the
Right.
one who keeps track of the time best.
Yeah.
And then just stops everything. Like we need a break now.
We are not
To
going
give it some
again.
structure.
We're moving on.
And moving on.
Oh, you have
yeah.
a thief. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
But
if
the-
I
the-
am
the-
pissed, I
Yeah.
will keep shooting something until I feel I've nailed it. But
Oh.
I need a Ron behind me saying, "No, you've got it. Let's move on."
Mm.
Yeah.
Or halfway back to the car. I really want to shoot this again.
Let's just do it one more time.
Yeah.
We're here now. We might as well just film it for a couple of more hours. We can get
No, I
this
think
done.
we shoot like 3 or 4 tries, and we
Mm.
just pick the best one.
Good.
Even though it's not perfect, this is
Yeah,
it.
as close
It's a
as it
play
can.
motion. It doesn't have to be perfect, and we need to move on. So it's like 2, 3 takes, 4 takes at the most, and we take the best. That's what we do.
Nice.
Now let's not ignore a classified series H.I.S.S tank. That
Again.
monster finding its way as a 3 3/4 inch scale vehicle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Was that
and
always
I
your
think
plan, Ron?
sorry.
Was that always your plan?
Yes, of
Convert
course.
it.
So when I first saw the classified H.I.S.S announced, I thought, oh yeah, that would be great, and I'm sure I could make it suitable for O-ring. And it's very easy to do. I think I posted that on my Instagram account. So you basically need the cockpit from the Snowcat and one of the turret seats from the General, and you're done.
Whoa.
So
Oh, just
And
like
they
that.
fit.
Just-
Hand in
That's it.
glove.
See,
And
that's
we
cool.
used the chair in the back for the throne that Cobra Commander sits
I
on.
was
yeah.
gonna say,
Yeah.
clever.
Oh, no ways.
Yeah, so you can
all
just
that
remove
Cobra
stuff in the back
Yeah, I did
and
actually.
and use it for storage. You can put a snake armor in there or a flight pod, and it works fine.
Or 2 bats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because it feels better scaled. I mean, I think definitely seeing the what is the big skull thing, the Skulltron thing, Skeletron, what is it called?
Rubber
The
skull.
robot skull.
Robo Skull. I think that kind of opened up that idea, where it's like a single vehicle could be made to accommodate multiple scales.
Mm.
I mean, it's wild, and that you kind of extrapolated that into a completely different vehicle. That's so
Ron
cool.
has one.
Wild is where I'm
actually.
gonna have to put mine.
You have it already. Oh.
I
Yeah,
do, yes.
everybody's got theirs. I just haven't shipped mine
Oh,
to
it's
me
just
yet.
Paul. You see, I just
Bart's
got
got-
everything.
Bart's
with
got
Paul.
mine.
He doesn't have his yet. I'm like,
And
no
I
one.
think it's better suited for O-ring than for the classified scale. To be honest.
I agree fully. with
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems everything they
But
make
it's
in
fun that
classified
both
scale
is
better for-
possible.
Yeah, like
Wild.
I always just quickly why we're just taking a small detour through Skeletron Lane here. I do feel like the Robo Skull was made for 3 3/4 inch, and that the 1 to 6 tail was done as a concession to help it push sales for the newly formed 1 to 6 scale Joe fans.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And kudos to Skeletron. They do make it work visually. Like it scales well visually with both, but it's a 3 3/4 inch figure, and it like the majesty in the Robo Skull is with a 3 3/4 figure because of how big it is. Like that's how big you want it to be versus 3 3/4 inch. So or 3 3/4 inch. So I don't know. I'm excited about that. I'm gonna have to hang mine from the roof because I'm running out of shelf space.
There's a lot of play value there. It's so I'm sure we'll use it in a playmotion in the future.
Oh heck yeah!
Hope so.
Definitely.
Well,
Yeah.
you do have hopefully a second part to this adventure in mind.
Yes, because I mean it's a cliffhanger. They kind of achieve
It's
part of the mission, but it's not. It's the beginning of something that
it
needs
begs
to
a follow-up. So yeah.
Yes.
Is
Depends
don't-
if
sci-fi
it's
going to
not
be
released
okay?
yet.
The
Sorry?
Starfighter got hit. Is sci-fi going to be okay? The Starfighter got hit right at the end, and I don't know if there's
We didn't get to see the results of that dog fight.
inconclusive. Yeah.
It's inconclusive.
Now,
to be honest,
when
I
do you
don't have
go
a
about
story
getting-
yet. So
Yeah.
I'm sure he can parachute his way out of it.
we will make probably a follow up, but yeah, we also want to do something more with our trio, with Toxo Viper, Sector Viper, and the Siege Lock, and the added
barging
zombie,
in,
Toxo
boys.
zombie. So it's which will come first, we don't know. But
No, I think it will be my turn to draft a basic storyline because
think
Mark
so.
has been putting a lot of effort into the past few videos, and
Yeah.
I've been laying back for a while. But yeah, I think I can put in a little more creative content this time.
Nice. I look forward to that. Heck yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Get creative.
I just think the barging in crew would be so cool if they end up saving the Baroness. Using crash landing.
Over. Okay.
And you got
Barging
these
in.
two guys,
You outer
and you got-
space.
and then you got these boneheads
Well-
that have to make sure she gets back safely. And yeah,
Well, then they don't. They shouldn't put her in the back with the Toxo zombie. That's never a good idea, I think. No, but yeah, I will We will take that into account. That idea.
Yeah.
Somehow synthesize both plots. I mean, that's
That would be
Perhaps,
best
fascinating.
both.
Don't
Mhm.
force
Well,
it.
it's
That would be
certainly
great.
they started in a battle barge and now they're in space. So
Like,
yeah.
what are we
They
doing
failed
here?
upwards, literally.
Yeah. they're on like
That'd be great.
spaceship cleaning detail, you know. Like,
Oh, we
so-
could all do all kinds
Yeah,
of funny
and-
things
and-
with that.
I'm gonna mention it. I think you guys. I mean, is all the music by him or is it by other people? Because I think it was very well incorporated into the piece.
No, it's all Paul.
Very well.
I mixed
it's
it.
So well done.
I mixed
I
it.
thought you used of his music.
Crudely, I admit. But
I
it's
thought it
all
was
Paul.
fine.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark.
Well,
And I thought it was cool. So yeah.
Yeah,
I
I think it
there's
worked really well. Like for the sequences that you used them for. Like it's
thank you.
fantastic. And who's the female voice in this? You've added someone to the to your
Yeah.
ensemble.
It's a youth friend of mine, Katie. And
Okay,
we've
wonderful.
known each other since we were teenagers.
Aw.
And she helped me out with As Darkness Falls as well. She did Zarana and Raven, and yeah, she was happy to help me out with the female voices. So
Oh,
she did
that's
Marissa and Blue Shift. Blue Shift is very. It's a character. I asked Darren to help me out with a name because he's very good in making file cards and
that is a
names.
good name. Though.
So he came up Blue Shift, and she has a very small part, but yeah.
Well, hopefully we see more of her in part 2. I gotta say, my favorite shot of this whole thing is kind of like after Baroness gets kidnapped, the kind of like slow zoom into the command center of the Defiant. And it's so cool because you kind of like slowly get to see the figures as you get closer, and you get the kind of reveal, the kind of very subtle reveal. It's kind of like, you reinforce it in the next scene, but you kind of see the legs of Baroness, and then you're like, oh, wait a minute. That really, it's spoilers for people who, I mean, you must have seen it by now. That, there is that the real Baroness is still inside the Defiant. That's probably my favorite shot. That slow pull in. And it's like, oh, there she is.
And I drop a few clues throughout already from the beginning. When Flint says, "Yeah, this will hit me personally," but okay, I'm going along with it.
She'll be all right. Don't worry. She'll be okay. But yeah, it's a great little. It's a great little reveal, and that's my favorite shot of the whole thing.
When the word switcheroo was used deliberately as a link to the Sunbow episode "Last Hour to Doomsday."
Yeah, one of the first episodes of the second season. Because that switcheroo is actually, yeah.
It's one of my favorite episodes. I would say. Yeah.
Clever.
I don't remember if I've seen that or not. Have you guys watched it?
Second season.
Yes.
It's actually, I think it's the first episode of the second season, but it's actually more like the first season, as in that Serpenter is not there, nor is Dr. Mindbender. It's all Cobra Commander and Baroness. It has the look and feel of the first season, with a few added characters, like I think Leatherneck Sci-Fi is in their mainframe.
It's interesting. Maybe it was an episode they held back.
I think so, and then they adjusted it to fit season 2. But I think so. I think.
Okay, well, I'm definitely gonna watch that to make sure I've seen it after this.
Yay! Any excuse to watch a classic cartoon. I sometimes find myself like spoiled for choice. I'm like, which one do I start with? And so it's nice to have a homework assignment.
Recommendation.
Yeah.
Steve,
We'll definitely spool that up after we're done.
For your GI Joe box set, have you also got the GI Joes silk screened on the discs, like and Cobras and GI Joes as per the card art?
Yeah.
On your disc. Okay. So like what I generally do is I just kind of go, ooh, which character I'm in the mood for, and then I'll grab the disc and be like, special features, another one. I'm like, okay, I'll watch this Baroness disc.
I think Steve is too lazy at this point to do that. He'll just spool it up on YouTube because I mean it's all on there. That's what makes it even more difficult to choose. it's just it's all on there.
I'll
I hate
have you
watching
know,
that stuff on-
Robert, not too long ago, I was laid up with chicken pox.
Well, that's a special case,
And I carted my parents' old CRT TV into my bedroom
Mhm.
and a DVD
So
player,
cool.
and I had the box set. So I was kicking it old school.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah,
like
as you guys can hear, Stephen suffered greatly. Just locked in there with
Tough, man.
suffering with video games.
Couldn't
the
play with my
Nintendo.
kids, so I just had to like read old comic books, play
Oh.
with old toys, and watch old DVDs.
Oh no! Oh no! Whoa, poor
me.
thing.
Okay, guys. Anything else we'd like to add, particularly about Starlight Switcheroo? We can keep the fun going, but yeah, just closing thoughts, I guess.
Great times. I want to see more.
Good.
Hmm,
The
please do
company
more.
line has been towed. But yeah, Ron and Mark, like anecdotes, any stories that you haven't offered up just yet?
Well, the only thing I would say, I would love to do more with that classified H.I.S. tank. I feel it's just the beginning. It has so much potential.
Seeing
Gotta
the
get your money's
treads
worth.
rolling so nicely on what
So
I
good.
assume is your sort of starship gray couch, perfect moonscape.
Mhm.
Very, very cool. But yeah, the
Yeah.
treads do roll quite freely on like a carpeted or upholstered
So
surface.
good.
Really nice.
And the lights are beautiful inside as well as outside. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, if you
I
can
hope I
find more
captured that, or we captured that, but it's the lights, the
Mm.
displays.
You guys definitely sold the damn thing. I can tell you that much.
Mm.
Like, I had a bit of FOMO watching it. I was like, maybe I
What
should have
is
got myself one.
Maybe I should buy one. Oh
Maybe I
God.
should've- Maybe I should
Well,
buy
if it,
one.
if it came with Ron's modifications, I think we would all buy one of them.
But hang on, you
Mm.
said that it just kind of it friction fits. It's a perfect fit. You don't have to like doctor the parts at all. That the
No, you can just
Snowcat-
put it in, and it you just put
Looks
it.
right.
Yeah, if you have the Snowcat cockpit, you just put that on the chair of the classified H.I.S.
Okay.
You don't
And
have
it
to
looks
adjust
good.
anything.
Okay.
Hmm.
So that's
That's
great.
great. So good. So
perfect.
I have a Snowcat Ron. I mean, I have a Snowcat.
So the only thing you need now is a classified H.I.S.
Okay, I'm
Easy peasy.
I've got a general. I'll just gut the turret.
there.
Nice.
We go. We're one step closer.
So, does anyone want to show off some new toys?
Whoa.
I know Rob and I are kicking around with some new things.
You guys
but
got
let's
new
go
stuff.
first.
No.
Let's open the floor to our guests. Mark,
Yeah.
Ron.
I have, yeah, but I have not. I don't have it here, but I broke a
Nice.
few crotches, so I bought myself a new gung ho, and
Gung ho
I'm
crotch.
buying myself a new mutt, and probably bazooka and zap.
Okay. to
All
replace
in one
Oh my
month.
word.
I mean, Mark. I mean, are these? Is it heavy play that's popping the crotches, or
No,
maybe
fortunately not.
mechanical?
I think it has to do with the weather here. It froze, and my mutt,
Ooh.
his legs were like this, so I just did this. That's all I did, and then
Ooh. Oh my goodness! I never considered bad.
Basically,
actually, this is the reason why. Do you hear my clock?
Yes.
I did a little bit actually.
Sorry.
Very cool.
The reason why I started my photography is because I wanted to preserve my figures and my adventures as I have them in my head. That's why I started these coffee table books, because my collection is deteriorating. And it's getting worse every year. So yeah, last month I lost 4 crotches. Gung Ho and Mud I will replace. Bazooka I don't think so. Zap also not. But yeah, it's a bummer. On the other hand, I'm used to it. It's not that of a big deal anymore.
Something that I'm very aware of now, because I have had to correct toys that I've bought from resellers. I mean, everyone, like anytime you buy a vintage toy, it's coming from someone who's probably done a little bit of fixering, uppering. Yeah, the O-rings that are too thick or too tight are just killing these crotches badly.
yeah, be careful with that.
Yeah, but
I
this
use extremely
crotch is
thin.
it's the O-rings I use are fine. But this is just
Just the
old
weather.
age. And like I said, it froze. We had a few cold days, and in my attic, then it freezes as well. I don't have climate control. That does something with the plastic. It's
For sure.
it's what it is.
Interesting.
Sorry, buddy. That sucks.
That's not good.
That's why I have my photos.
There we go. They will live on forever.
Your Scarlet's still surviving though?
Yes.
Ah.
Yes. Yeah.
One
Next up, lady, right?
Knock on wood.
Ron, any new toys that you've got coming
Well,
in?
yeah,
recently?
I just so I wanted to show you. I got inspired by your core playmotion, so I just bought a
Hey.
bag of core figures.
Oh wow.
You got a baggie.
So
That's
a lot of
someone was
custom
selling,
material.
yeah, it's there's a lot in there. So
That's crazy. For the price of one Joe, you got yourself 20
it
core
didn't
figures.
cost much,
Worth
but
that.
actually there was one in there, Steve, that I thought looked a bit like you. Are you
Oh, heaven
familiar-
help me. A
Well,
core
when you
looks
have
like
a
Whispering
beard,
Willy.
anyway. So this guy.
Oh yeah.
no.
Great
Oh
choice,
God,
Pink
no.
Guy.
It's like night
have a
ops
beard.
Bengala. A
Okay.
beard and a turban, of course.
Of course. Well, it's,
Well,
it's
yeah, but-
covering your big hair.
But I thought, let's just give these guys a try, and maybe I can customize a few. And I like to get a feel of them and see what they can do for our stories. So maybe I'll
Right.
integrate like some
Because
customs
it
in the
helps
future.
expand, and also because the characters maybe aren't as recognizable to people as like GI Joes are, it does add to your roster of characters you can have in any given play motion.
Yeah.
Like you can really expand on the cast and have your own customized characters. Very much so with the core, because I mean, how many people are really fans of the core? I don't know. No one really.
Personally, I
you
think
can
it
just
gives you
add them
license
and,
to
them.
take
I
things
like them
less
very
seriously.
much.
Mm.
My first tank was core. Yeah, the patrol boat is a gem.
Oh, that's cool.
I have the ambulance. I have the
Hey,
field transport. I have him too as well.
Yeah. Perfect dreadnought.
Whispering Willy.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
Whispering
my
Willy.
favorite.
We
Beautiful
all have
figure.
to have
Him and the ninja.
Whispering Willy.
It's so
Why?
disgusting.
Why the flesh like legs? Oh, jeez.
It's
Paul's got something new. You got a
Because
car?
he's crazy.
Oh, I just picked up a Hot Wheels the other day after I said I wouldn't. But then it was a Honda Civic and
how
it had
dare
a carbon fiber hood. Carbon fiber! So I couldn't say no to it.
You couldn't resist.
Tasty.
couldn't.
Who can resist
60
carbon
rand.
fiber?
Ridiculous.
60
I can't believe
rand.
what
That's like
just
nothing.
the
That's
day.
like 50 cents in
Dude,
euros. Crazy.
dude. When I first started buying Hot Wheels, they were
Mm.
20 rand. And I'm not talking about like, oh, back in the days. I'm talking about like
10
pre-COVID.
years. Wow. 5 years ago.
Yeah. They were $20 and now they're $60.
I can't believe it. That's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. That's why I've just sort of stopped buying them. Because
How very
yeah.
dare.
Courtesy of our man Paul, Rob and I have our first taste of Super 7 Reaction O-Ring Plus figures.
So good.
And
Yeah, overall, good reactions.
positive reaction.
Yeah, I mean there are niggles, there are issues, but I feel like it's a good start to maybe what they want to do in the future. I feel like there are hiccups in what the direction that they want to go in, because I feel like it's difficult to produce a good O-ring figure these days. Like whatever they were doing back in the 80s and 90s, that knowledge has somehow been forgotten or it's not being shared. So all these companies are kind of.
I've got one tip for them. If they ever listen to this, please sculpt the eyes.
Yeah.
That's all I say.
I would agree with that 100%. Like now that you pointed it out, they look very lifeless to me. Like
That's
Duke
where we're
is
at with the line.
dead behind
Hopefully
it.
Super 7 is in a
Right.
receptive place and they're listening to
There's
us.
nothing going on
That's
there.
amazing.
Nothing is going on behind these eyes.
It's like the shark from Jaws, bro.
Blank stare.
Well, I
seriously,
like you gents had my expectations set very low, and I was fully prepared to sit this one out until they produced a character that I thought was unmissable.
Yeah.
Like a Raven or a Mara. We've spoken about this plenty, either offline or even on the podcast. And it took Paul actually putting these in our hands
guys have to have these.
for me to now come around to some of the merits.
To like
One
put them
of
through
which,
the internet. I was like, bah.
yeah, man.
Mhm.
Did you know that the hands of the Super 7 Reaction Plus, and this isn't going to show up on my camera, so I'm not even going to try, they have a squared off. They are sculpted to be square to accept the pistol grips better. You know, obviously a GI Joe has a more C grip, rounded grip, and that would always, I mean, unless you had kind
Move
of
it.
widened the thumb a little bit through use, that'll typically give you a bit of like a gangster, you know,
Yeah, kind of flip forwards or.
well, the gun would always be kind of like angled in their grip.
Mm.
You have to kind of really tuck the
Well, yeah,
the
with
butt.
these, depending on how they've angled the molding, it's perfectly aligned with where they want the gun to go.
Yeah, the back end of the gun really fits that square
Mm.
aperture in their
And I
grasp.
mean, by comparison
Amazing.
to the Hasbro their reissues when they did Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow and whatever else they did with the Transformers crossovers, these are way better. Like they feel more like GI Joes. I mean, they're not exactly the same, but they don't feel as weird as the reissued figures did, which I
Yeah.
think is already a huge improvement.
They don't
But
give
yeah,
you tactile issues.
My biggest gripe, which apparently is something Super 7 loves doing, they love painting in the flesh tones. If you do it on figures with their hands, you are going to lose paint off the fingers when you
Agreed.
try and put the
Weapons in.
weapons into the hands.
Granted,
You're not
I
gonna
mean,
see that on
yeah,
here
my
very well.
camera's not up to the snuff, and I don't have much lighting either.
But don't worry, we have produced a video. It'll come out soon where we will show you off everything we love and hate about these things.
Amazing.
And the incredible,
Totally. And Cobra Commander should follow soon as well. So
then the
I keep
complicated
saying that.
process behind how we chose who would have who. You're gonna love it, guys. It wasn't an easy process.
Pistols at
I-
dawn.
I
I
really
do
want.
have a question, guys.
Yeah.
In this bag of core figures, there was one I couldn't place. Is this also core?
Oh my
Because
God, is that a
his,
Klingon?
I don't know, but
I
his-
don't recognize
his,
that as a core figure.
construction is a little different. Do you recognize this?
It's not core, but
I don't
What
think
is
that's core.
no.
So he
Unless
has
it's
O-ring
from a
style
later
arms,
line.
but this whole part here is different. The torso.
I mean, they did create a different type of figure later on where they ditched O-rings, but I don't recognize that as a core figure. But
It
then I
looks
don't
like
know
the body
all-
construction of Visionaires, but I don't
Could
know.
be.
We
Yeah.
discovered a new species. Look,
I
that
guess so.
torso, the upper torso is shared with a few core characters like Tony Tanner, Alpine.
Hmm.
Could it be a bootleg?
Is very recognizable, but the T crotch, like everything below the waist, that
knockoff?
is
Weird.
very strange.
Odd.
Never
I
seen
don't
that
think
before.
people knock off the core.
No, bootleg then.
I wouldn't be surprised.
The core is the knockoff.
If it sells, it sells.
Guys, I got a Cobra Adder,
So
bit of a
mean.
grudge purchase, but like I've never had
I
one before, and I
love
finally
it.
picked one up. You like
I have
one?
I
Mark?
dig it
Two.
as
I
well.
like
Yeah,
them.
I'm also a fan. Such a
Okay.
clever toy for being
Look,
so
it's
simple.
nice that it has a very singular purpose, whereas so many GI Joe vehicles have guns everywhere, missiles everywhere, deployable vehicles. This is simply
and
a
they
like
look
a
look
Scud missile
fantastic
launcher.
if you line them up with asps and stingers, and it's
Fits
I
in.
like it.
And they've accounted for the driver not having to be hit
Yes,
by the missiles.
safety. Yeah,
Finally.
there's a
It's the
safety
only vehicle in
consideration
all
there.
of GI Joe that does that.
And the missiles are beautifully sculpted, I felt.
Yeah.
Those are nice.
Look,
I
To be
find.
honest, because this wasn't in any of the catalogs that I pined over, the missiles were the real selling point because this has an appearance in GI Joe, the video game.
The video game.
The video
Mhm.
game.
Really?
Yeah,
really?
these
Mhm.
missiles are the ones bombarding you in the Arctic or Antarctic
Yep.
missions.
Very specifically.
Very specifically,
Yep.
they are absolutely these ones.
Interesting.
But the Adder itself, look, it's in Cobra Blue. It was a 1988 release, but like you say, it will work nicely with something as early as the ASP because it's in that same Cobra Blue. In an era where Cobra was doing magenta and they were doing the Cobra Bug, like it's such an interesting throwback to an earlier time. That said,
I also
it is
think
a
it's
pitifully thin little cart.
Yeah.
Like when viewed from the front, you're like, wow, this thing is budget.
It feels more like something you would just find on an aircraft carrier. Something that would pull something else.
Oh
It
yeah,
really
yeah,
shouldn't have
like a
missiles on it.
utility vehicle.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a tow hitch, so perish the
One,
thought.
Stephen, one of the parts of this vehicle has also. I discovered you can use the seat for the shark to
No
mimic
way.
like the cartoon. That they sit upright in the shark.
Oh, wow.
Does it require any kind of doctoring, or does it kind of snug
No,
fit?
just put it in.
Brilliant.
Okay,
So you
we're
can
gonna have
try
to
it.
try that.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be scratching through vintage toy market parts bins looking for adder seats now because I'm not about to break this one up.
Definitely.
Guys, I overpaid for this as far as I'm concerned. It
Oh,
is such a wafer thin thing. To have paid what I paid for it is a little bit disgusting. But it was a local Joe seller, and he's never gonna discount his stuff, unfortunately. So the sticker price was the sticker price. But yeah, can tick another box off. I think I have all the 1988 vehicles now.
Nicely done.
Woohoo!
I still think that vehicle a holdover from the early concept days that they just never released and then just released later on.
I wouldn't
Out in
doubt
the
it.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
how
got
it
that feel.
feels. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's like the A.S.P. It's got that A.S.P. feel. And what else, Steve? Is that it?
Oh, that's it, man.
Yeah,
These are lean
so-
times. Well, if you consider that I'm on a plane on Wednesday, as of
You gotta be
this
smart.
podcast,
Yeah.
yeah, I gotta keep it light. I mean, all of Elliot's Christmas swag and his 4th birthday swag will be having to
All gonna have to go.
travel back to Australia. Me, I'm gonna make it a one-way trip. Like stuff comes back to South Africa, stuff doesn't leave South Africa to go to Oz. That said, I think I have a hankering to keep Quick Kick, Alpan, and Bazooka in my back pocket. So
Whoa.
they'll
you
probably
should. They're cool.
be taking the plane ride.
I was
with me.
wondering,
Three
Stephen,
amigos.
do you have a
Yes.
wish to transport your whole collection to Australia at some point?
More the other way around, but yeah, I mean, I have to look into the logistics of moving a general and a Terradrome at some stage. But this is my base, Ron. This
Yeah.
is my playground, as it
Where
were.
you hope to have your base, and I hope you have it here too. I think that'd be really cool.
5-year plan,
Yeah.
10-year plan. I don't know.
Okay.
The goalposts keep shifting, but either way, I will visit as often as I possibly can. So
Yeah.
it's my home,
How else
guys.
are you gonna see half your collection?
How else am I going to see my other half?
Oh, I
Oh.
don't know. He's from Joburg, isn't he?
Yeah. My other third. That's it.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm very excited at the prospect of perhaps meeting at least one of the Dutch boys. Mark and I will be in Singapore at the same time
That's
Yes.
for a few hours.
Do we
For a few hours. Yeah.
have to send out a
Yeah.
press release to the
Yep.
Singapore government? Okay.
Very,
Just checking.
very exciting.
Heck yeah. And
Yeah,
knowing
and,
that Ron is
Stephen,
like,
in the future, we might be able to meet in Australia.
Yes. Okay.
That
Well,
sounds
you've said a
great.
mouthful. I have heard.
But timing is everything, of course. Yeah.
well, I mean, I was gonna say, knowing how good Ron is at like time management, I really think you guys can knock out a playmotion while you're there. So if you can get this timeline down
Well,
to the second.
Ron has to send us a schedule, and then
Okay.
Mark and I need to slavishly stick to it.
All right. Well, there we go.
Okay.
Fair
Well,
enough. Work
Stranger
it
things
out.
have happened.
I think this would be amazing.
All right, boys.
Shiny
Thank you
chrome
for joining
to
us once
Valhalla.
again. If
It
you
is
haven't
always a
seen
pleasure.
Starlight Switcheroo and you've
What do you do?
come to the end of this podcast,
Then go
well,
and see
I hope
Starlight
we've built up
Switcheroo.
enough anticipation for you to enjoy this piece,
Please.
and really beat down their door for a part 2.
Give us more, guys. Give us more.
Like, share, subscribe, drop a comment if you will, if you would be so kind.
If you wouldn't be so kind, just to be mean to us and comment on our things, please.
Hey, there's no such thing as bad press.
Oh,
And thanks to there is the few Elon Musk. And thanks to the Patreon supporters. You guys
Wonderful
are awesome. Thank
people.
you very much. Helps keeps things going. Definitely makes the channel easier to run. And
And our YouTube members who are probably enjoying early access to this
Oh my
podcast.
goodness.
Woohoo.
Whoa.
woohoo with the Patreon guys as well. And yeah, so good stuff
Stay
happening.
frosty,
Have
everybody.
a good one. Yeah.
Head
Grab
on a
yourself
swivel,
a
my
coffee.
dude.
And I hope your crotches don't freeze off.
Yo, Joe.
Berg. Berg.